What's up, guys? Welcome to GoGo Motoring YouTube channel. This is a what you need to know video about one of the most famous BMWs ever produced, the BMW Isetta. If you watched Family Matters growing up, you would know that this was Steve Urkel's BMW of choice. The BMW Isetta is a microcar that was produced under license by BMW between 1955 and 1962. The Moto Coupe is based on a design from the Italian manufacturer Isetta and is known as a bubble car. In Germany, the Isetta was affectionately known as the Knutschkugel, which translates to cuddle coach. Let's talk about how BMW started producing the BMW Isetta. In the mid-1950s, BMW was on the brink of bankruptcy. Motorcycle production was declining, and luxury vehicles like the 503 and the 507 were so expensive to produce that BMW lost money on these models. The number one priority for BMW at this time was to put a car into production that would make BMW money right away. BMW needed a new model that would not require a lot of development costs, and it found its solution at the 1954 Turin car show. At the Isetta booth, an Italian maker of refrigerators and mini cars, there was a three-wheeled car with a huge door, which looked surprisingly similar to a refrigerator door in the front. It was called the Isetta. BMW acquired licensing rights for the Isetta and for the production equipment as well. BMW kept the bubble car's original Italian name, Isetta, which is the diminutive form of Iso. Let's talk about the changes that BMW made to the Isetta. Isettas typically had a door in the front and a single-cylinder four-stroke engine in the back. At the start of production in 1955, the BMW Isetta 250 was redesigned to take a modified version of the 250cc four-stroke engine from the R25 motorcycle. The single cylinder generated exactly 1,200 horsepower. Contrary to what the name change might suggest, BMW added another tire so that the German car had 4 tires compared to the Italian's 3. In 1956, BMW put out a version with a higher performance, the BMW Isetta 300 with a 300cc engine and 13 horsepower. Both versions could reach speeds of up to 53 miles per hour or 85 kilometers per hour. Let's talk about the driving characteristics for the BMW Isetta. There was no better car for zipping around the city for short distances. Because it was only 7.5 feet long and weighed only 770 pounds, it was more maneuverable than almost any other car. And 2 adult passengers could sit next to one another just like in a regular car. The Isetta was the only microcar where this was possible. Since the door opens to the front and the steering wheel and the steering column swing with it, it's easy to get in and out. Luggage goes on the outside on a luggage rack that mounts onto the back. All Isettas had a canvas roof, which is similar to today's sunroof, but not because of customer demand, but because an emergency exit was mandatory since people entered the car through the front door. Let's talk about the changes during the Isetta's production life cycle. Not many changes were made to the Isetta while it was in production. The first series had a larger back window than the second, and the window that opened to the side was replaced by a sliding window. Let's talk about the BMW Isetta sales success. The Isetta became a much-needed bestseller for BMW. At only 2,550 German marks, which is about 1,450 US dollars or 1,300 euros today, the Isetta was a car most people could afford. And Isetta drivers didn't need an expensive car license to drive the Isetta. All they needed was a motorcycle license. With 10,000 cars sold in the first year, the Isetta was found all over Germany and then later in other countries. Over the 8 years it was in production, 161,728 Isettas were sold. Today, it remains one of the most successful one-cylinder cars in the world. When production stopped in 1962, the era of the bubble car came to an end. By that time, the standard of living had improved, and people wanted full-size cars. So that's a quick overview of the BMW Isetta, the cult classic, one of the most recognized and well-known BMWs of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, guys.
Go, go, motoring! Go,